Hate Kanye. Love communism. Get vaccinated. Doubt is dangerous. Obedience is strength. Erica, back to you.
We're here at the Children's Hospital Torbala, and we still don't know what causes cancer or autism.
Thanks, Jackie. If only we knew what was causing everyone to get so sick. In other news, Weck, trans women are women, and I just got vaccinated.
Hey, nothing to see here.
Anyway, make sure to get your flu shot and stop being anti-Semitic.
Heck.
Doctors are smarter than you.
Now that you've looked into it and you said you don't have a coherent theory as to what it was, but you've got a lot of questions, which questions trouble you the most?
Well, it starts with Building 7.
Yes.
Where you look at that and it just, yeah, I mean, this is really weird. You know, it does come down just like a, building demolition type of project. You get a documentary of this Alaskan structural engineering professor that does a 4-year study on it. Pretty well debunks NIST's analysis. And again, you don't have to be a structural engineer to say this really doesn't make sense. When you start putting together at what temperature steel melts, they had molten steel in the Twin Towers, and I'm not sure they had it in number 7. But if one column, they said one column expanded, went off kilter, and that's what brought the whole thing down, well, it wouldn't come down so symmetrically. You wouldn't have a free fall.
If you comment some horse shit, I'm not going to take you serious. If you comment some dumb shit, I'm not going to take you serious.
Ignore the haters, keep your chin up, bro. Pros built like the Snapchat logo. How we fold this town, cease never own good time. Necklace behavior until next time. Can't wear a necklace because he is necklace. What neck of the woods are you from? This guy ain't sticking his neck out for no one. This is the guy who can survive a car crash. Is the nipple on your neck or your chest? Bros never get choked out in a jiu-jitsu match. Master for head and shoulders with the neck rolls. Gram, look it up, buddy, immune to uppercuts. Dude is a whole new race of people. Mexican, allergic to headlocks, neck reveal. Shut it!
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
available.
And homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
I'm kind of retarded.
So, I wasn't planning on not doing an episode last week. I was in the process of moving and I fully expected to be able to do both, but that didn't work out. And real quickly, I gotta mention this story I saw in my local news about 10 days ago. See, there was this Russian family visiting Miami and staying at a condominium, and the security cameras in the building caught this dude abusing his daughter, slinging her around, shaking her, picking her up off the ground by her fucking hair. So of course, the cops, they come to arrest him, and picture in your mind what you expect Russian man arrested in Florida to look like. And boom. Is that what you had pictured? Because that's exactly what I expected. But the part I found to be strange and why I mention this story at all is because of this.
While that mother and her attorney refused to answer my questions, that judge ruling the family visiting from Russia must remain in Florida until further notice.
That the passports for the family will be retained by mother's counsel until further order of the court.
See, this raises a few questions for me, first and foremost being why? Why are you making them stick around in the country? It's like a Bronx Tale, now yous can't leave. These are fucking foreign nationals. Can't they just find the dude, tell the bailiff to whack his pee-pee and ship his ass back off to Russia? No, we gotta make them all stick around for the foreseeable future, and pay to keep this dude locked up in the jail. And why is a Florida judge deciding custodial rights for foreign nationals? If anybody can make this make sense, please explain it to me in the comments. And the problem with missing a week is there's so much happening that things that happened a week and a half ago seem like ancient history. Like the South African president visiting the White House. I watched that happen live and was laughing my ass off when he said, "Hey, let's turn down the lights for a second and watch this." And the reporting on it was hilarious. Everyone referring to it as the Oval Office ambush. Everyone referring to it as the Oval Office ambush.
Cyril Ramaphosa brought his best diplomatic self to this meeting, but nothing could have prepared him for this multimedia ambush that President Trump laid out with video, with printed out news stories. This was a laundry list of debunked conspiracy theories. Some South Africans are telling me this is AfriForum propaganda. AfriForum is a white Afrikaner lobby group that's considered a white nationalist organization by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Everything, almost everything that President Trump said in the Oval Office is not true, was inaccurate, has been repeatedly debunked.
Pardon me, but that's bullshit.
Trump argues with South African president, falsely claiming genocide of white farmers. And that dum-dum even brought some white South African golfers with him, figuring they'd back him up. And then what do you know? He goes, "Well, actually, I'm from a farming area, and my family's got some friends that have been killed. My 70-year-old grandmother's been attacked." I really don't know what the fuck the South African president was thinking.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope.
I mean, did you not see what happened with Zelensky? You thought he was going to be all cutesy with you, though? And all this went down with Elon looking on, and his demeanor was pretty fucking priceless, too. And speaking of Elon, he had some, what I considered to be minor criticisms of the big, beautiful bill, and how basically it kept the same bloated budgets that Doge had managed to find ways to cut billions and billions of dollars out of, but they just throw the same money at him. So the fact that he's leaving in his role as special government employee, well, that got framed as, oh, in the midst of this rift with President Trump over his spending bill. Never mind that that role had a time limit, and that time limit is up. But no, everybody just reported it as, oh, his relationship with Trump is growing contentious. And by the way, he's a failure. He didn't cut nearly as much as he said he was gonna. Well, from what I understand, there is a separate Doge bill that's being worked through committee that will codify the cuts that Doge is proposing. So I'm not really sweating it. And there was also some HHS news that was hilariously framed. Confusion and controversy. The COVID-19 vaccine guidance shakeup for children. And this started with RFK Jr. coming out and saying that the coof jabs are no longer going to be recommended for healthy children and pregnant women. This move, framed as a step toward restoring the doctor-patient relationship and emphasizing informed consent, quickly sent shockwaves through the medical community and among parents. My goodness, emphasizing informed consent?
Oh my God, what a fucking nightmare!
And this is the best part. However, within days, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention published an updated immunization schedule that contradicted the perception created by Kennedy's announcement. So it didn't actually contradict what he said, it contradicted what people thought about what he said. Because apparently a lot of people thought that this meant banning it for younger, healthier people and pregnant women. Really, it's just saying it's no longer on the recommended list. But from what I understand about this, the fact that it's no longer on the recommended list takes away some of the indemnity and liability protections that the manufacturers have. And whether or not that's the case, I'm not entirely sure, because this article and every other article I saw didn't cover that angle at all.
Oh, there's a fucking surprise.
Shocking, I know. It is funny, though, seeing the way they try to frame these stories. Confusion and controversy. It's also been really entertaining seeing the Mockingbird media try to play this, oh my goodness, we were all duped by people within the administration. I guess hoping that people are going to completely forget that it wasn't just that you played dumb about not knowing this motherfucker was completely losing his shit. You after and attack anybody that pointed out his obvious mental decline, saying, oh, he's had a stutter his whole life and you're making fun of him? You're a terrible person. And Jake Tapper trying to put out his little book, acting like, oh no, I just didn't know. They had me completely fooled. And now his show's getting the lowest ratings since before Trump even came on the scene, even though basically everyone on that network has been shoving that book down everybody's throats, acting like it's this big expose.
Embarrassing.
And I guess I should take a moment to mention the slap heard round the world.
Why? 'Cause fuck 'em, that's why.
Technically, it wasn't even a slap, it was more of a face mush. He tried to play it all off, and he's like, no, we're just kidding around. And then, here, honey, take my arm. Nope. Okay. You remember the last time some dude slapped Macron? It was about 4 years ago exactly. I mean, I guess it was a little funnier this time because it was his husband doing it, and possibly his daddy. But still, so what? I mean, what is this? Breaking news, everyone. Macron is a little bitch. It's not exactly a stop the presses kind of moment. I mean, it was pretty good for about a 10-second chuckle and then some pretty decent memes. But really, who gives a shit? At this next story, however, I didn't really see get reported much of anywhere. And in fact, I probably would have never even come across it had I not saw somebody post about it on X. A lesbian teen brutally beaten unconscious and robbed at McDonald's. And as the story goes, she's visiting her grandparents in Illinois, and while at a McDonald's eating, she went to use the women's room and 2 men at a nearby table called her a fag. And she confronted the men, a black 19-year-old and a Latino-looking 16-year-old, and told them that they had no right to call her that. Yeah, I'm sure that's just what she said. And I'm not saying that she deserved to get tuned up like that. I'm just saying I would bet my hard plastic left nut that what she actually said to him was probably something a little more profane. But none of that is even the reason why I mention this story. The reason why I mention this story was the little bit that was at the end of this article.
Hey, you want to see something really scary? You bet.
She said the attack has inspired her to finally pursue her lifelong dream of becoming a police officer. Because that's the kind of person you want as a police officer. Someone with a big old chip on their shoulder from getting beaten unconscious. That's exactly what they need. A badge and a gun. What could go wrong there? And another story that I almost missed, in fact I did miss it 3 years ago when it first broke, and last year when it got sort of rediscovered. I finally came across it a week ago when Ivan Raiklin quote tweeted about it, saying in case you missed it, thank you because I did miss it. And I had originally planned to do a deeper dive into the background of Susie Wiles after she got named Trump's new chief of staff, but that's just one of those things that sort of fell by the wayside with so much going on. A lot of people don't seem to realize how important the chief of staff is. Amongst their many duties, that's the person who more than anyone controls who has access to the president. So her being the co-chair of a company that does consulting and public relations for the likes of Pfizer and Gilead being the company that made remdesivir, it seems a little problematic to me. It's definitely a cause for concern. I mean, maybe not the level of concern that's bubbling up because of the bullshit that's been coming out of Bongino and Patel's mouths lately. That's been a serious source of disappointment for me. Maybe not so much for Bongino, I never trusted that guy, but I am severely fucking disappointed in Kash Patel. For these assholes to be sitting there doing an interview saying, oh yeah, Epstein definitely committed suicide. Oh, and those 2 assassination attempts? Yeah, there's nothing suspicious about them either. It's just like they said it was. I mean, maybe when the bastard son of Gary Busey tried to shoot Trump down here in Florida, maybe that was just some guy who happened to be connected to the CIA working all on his own. But if you're gonna sit there and tell me that there is not a ton of suspicious shit with the Butler story,
Fuck you!
Them cremating the body before anybody could do an independent autopsy, hosing down the roof within hours. And out of the thousands of witnesses that were there, they let everybody go within a couple hours. Not to mention the kid's house, which when they served the warrant there, it was so clean you could manufacture microchips there. Or the GPS data that showed there was a phone that had repeatedly been at that house and had also been at the FBI field office. And of course Maria Bartiromo, useless slag that she is, wasn't going to push back on shit. She just treated it like, oh, well, If you say so, it must be true. And then later Bongino coming out and saying, oh, well, there's actually videotape. I mean, the one that was pointed at his cell was corrupted, but there's a video of the bay and you could see that nobody goes in or out during the time that this went down. Oh, because yes, video timestamps and metadata cannot be manipulated at all. It's so infuriating, and I know some people are still trying to hold out hope with the, oh, well, they had to say that because they don't want to give the bad guys the heads up that they're after them. Yeah, this is starting to seem a whole lot like the Q bullshit. I hope these people are right about it. I hope they prove me wrong. But at this point, I've lost any kind of hope or expectation as far as exposing and addressing the deep-seated corruption. But let's look at the bright side. Either way, whether these people are on the level and actually trying to affect real change or it's all just bullshit and theater, it really doesn't change the calculus for what we should expect to see, what we should be preparing for. For me, the most likely scenario seems like an internet and/or power grid down situation. Really, the two are so dependent on each other that if one goes, the other goes. But I think it would make a lot of sense for it to start as a cyber pandemic that ends up taking down the power grid. Because then they can come back later and say, hey, listen, you know that free and open internet thing? Well, we gave that the old college try and look what happened. So now we're going to need a more controlled Internet 2.0, something that for security reasons you're going to have digital ID to access. Because if you think about it, the internet giving the people the ability to have a flow of information and anonymity, while a lot of people got funneled into the cheap amusements of keeping in touch with people on Facebook and watching funny cat videos, the seemingly growing number of people that are trying to use the internet as a resource to educate and inform themselves is definitely problematic for them. This is why I say this scenario to me seems like the most likely, because I look at it from where they want to get us to and what would be the best way to get us there. The timetable for this is a little bit trickier to predict, and no matter who's actually responsible for them, guaranteed it's going to be, oh, look what the Russians did to us. I woke up yesterday morning and turned on the news, and the first story I hear is about how Russia has launched the largest air attack since the war began. And then, oh yeah, and by the way, 2 bridges in Russia just happened to collapse.
Oh, how convenient!
2 bridges that are right on the border with Ukraine, in 2 different oblasts, just happened to collapse and derail trains and kill people. Are we sure they just collapsed? Because I heard the motherfuckers got blown up. And they also didn't mention on ABC News about how the Ukrainians are taking credit for massive drone attacks on different Russian strategic air bases, claiming that they wiped out anywhere from 35 to 50% of the nuclear bombers. Something that Russia has specifically said if there's an attack on any part of our nuclear triad, we could very well respond with nukes. It's like a week ago when they were saying, oh, look at this, Russia is attacking Kiev and other Ukrainian cities for no reason, never mentioning once that they tried to bring down his helicopter with a drone attack. So whatever kind of preparations you've been thinking about doing and maybe procrastinating on, you might want to go ahead and knock it out, because whether shit goes sideways 2 years from now or 2 hours from now, you're going to be wishing that you had gotten more prepared while the getting was good. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. Come on. Come on. Look at you now.